Guys, today we're going to be talking about blood pressure. I couldn't find a good YouTube video for this, so I'm going to make one for myself. So, what is blood pressure? Blood pressure is basically the amount of pressure in a given artery, and it's different all over the body. So, for consistency, the doctor's almost always going to use the right arm. We're going to take it the old-fashioned way. That way we can kind of see what blood pressure actually is. Okay. All right, now what's the point of the blood pressure cuff? Well, we have a volunteer student teacher here. We're going to completely close off his brachial artery using the cuff. Now, why do we want to close off the brachial artery? Well, we have to completely close it off. That way, when it first starts to open, we'll know the max blood pressure in his brachial artery. And we'll compare that to other people, and we'll see if he's in good cardiovascular health. If you have abnormally high blood pressure, which I don't expect this gentleman to have, you're basically damaging your arteries, which leads to plaque buildup, which leads to atherosclerosis, which leads to higher blood pressure, which leads to more damage, which leads to more plaque buildup. So it's kind of like this cycle. That's why your doctor really doesn't want to see high blood pressure. He knows you're kind of going down a slippery slope. All right, so how does this work? Well, most people's blood pressure is right around 120/60. So to completely close off his brachial artery, we need to definitely go over 120. Matter of fact, we're going to take it all the way to 180 to make sure that we for sure close off his brachial artery fully. Now, how are we going to know when we hit his systolic pressure? That's when the ventricles are contracting. We're going to, two things. The needle will start bouncing, which y'all probably won't be able to see. And I'll be able to hear turbulence with the stethoscope. Why would I be able to hear turbulence? Well, if you think of a garden hose, if you try to close off the end, it goes, starts spraying water everywhere. But the garden hose is wide open. It's got a nice smooth flow. So when his brachial artery right now, if I hooked up the stethoscope, I would hear nothing because there's no turbulence. So let's create some turbulence here. Now I'm going through a shirt here, so this may not be as good as it possibly could be, but we're going to work with it. All right, so I'm going to pump it up to 180 millimeters of mercury. If you don't understand that unit of measurement, welcome to the club. Okay, I can hear the heartbeat. And when I stop hearing the heartbeat, that's the lower number. So he is, I don't know if we can see this, started hearing the heartbeat around 130, and I stopped hearing it at 70. Okay. Now, is that a normal blood pressure? Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Anything under 140 over 80 would be in the normal range. So I'm not worried about his cardiovascular health. But what does the low number mean exactly? Okay, we know the upper number is the pressure it takes to just barely squeeze a little drop of blood through that closed brachial artery. But the low number is when his brachial artery is so open that there's no turbulence. That's what the lower number means. So what's going on in the heart at the lower number? Well, the ventricles are relaxing and refilling with blood. Why doesn't the pressure drop to zero? This is a tough question to answer. If you watched my video on elastic arteries, you would know that between when the ventricle is contracting, your arteries balloon up and get out of the way, and then they squeeze the blood through between heartbeats as they rebound. If you get older and more atherosclerosis, your arteries won't rebound. It actually leads to a higher systolic pressure, which is the high number. All right, guys, we'll see y'all guys later.